Welcome back, YouTube. I wanted to make a video, a very important one, to discuss what to expect now that we are roughly about a day out from the Golden Cross here in Dogecoin. So we are, which if you zoom in here, you can see we are pretty much touching right here for the 14 and 72. And for those of you who are just tuning in, this is a major indicator. Last time this happened, we ran from around 8.5 cents to around 23 cents, right? But I want to just kind of make this video to kind of discuss expectations and time frames of price movements and kind of what that means. I touched on it a little bit in yesterday's video if you wanted to watch that, but I'm going to spend a lot more time on it today. So a lot of people think like when you have this signal like tomorrow, this means that, okay, tomorrow the signal's in, then money flows into the coin, boom, it's just starts a God candle here and it's just start running. It's just going to be all green from here. Not necessarily the case. So we what we can do is compare this here, and there's a couple of good examples by looking at the last time this happened. You can see that if you should go back to, let's say, October of last year, right, November, right, we had the Golden Cross, because there's two different scenarios now. The coin can be on a tear when it's happening, and you can continue to see that that price movement, or it can be an indicator predicting kind of like a trend, and then it lags behind a little bit, but it's just giving you a time frame saying, hey, the money's coming into the market, expect this movement. So back in October, the coin was pretty much on a tear when we got the 14, but we also crossed the 200-day moving average. So we got two pretty significant moving averages, golden crosses back to back. And you'll see we went from around 5-8 cents, excuse me, like about 6 cents, right? And we had this run all the way to around 10 cents. We're talking about a 40% increase here in a little over a month and a half. And this was two indicators from pretty much our bottom in the market, right? If you take a look at the charts, the market pretty much bottomed back then. And then you have another scenario here back in February. We had a golden cross and we pretty much went sideways, but we did nothing but sideways movement for about 6 days after the cross. And then, of course, we got a historic run here of nothing but green candles. So we have a scenario here. Obviously, we're not on a tear to the upside. So I believe we'll see something similar to what we had in February before we went on this run from 8 to around 23 cents, which is we kind of have like this sideways movement. And it's just indicating saying, hey, the market is getting ready to run. What day that'll be, what the time, the hour, I don't know. But it's just a signal saying, hey, the market is kind of expect some price movement relatively soon. It kind of gives you an idea versus to let you kind of get prepared versus waiting on a notification from Coinbase or Robinhood, Binance or something like that saying, hey, the coin is moving, or the top coin in the last hour is this coin. It kind of gives you an idea so that you are walking kind of like an expectation beforehand so that you can prepare, make adjustments. That's the point of charting these signals. Otherwise, you don't have any idea of kind of what to expect before it actually happens. You're forced to make decisions in the moment as it's happening. So that's the kind of the point of looking at these things here, so that you can kind of get some expectations of what's going on in the market. So more than likely, we'll see some sideways movement here. Like I said, last time it was on 6 days, but it gives you a signal here that, hey, we have a golden cross, and you can expect there to be some price movement coming into the asset. And again, we should get that actual cross sometime like tomorrow, late tomorrow. I expect that, especially after today's candle closes. We're still roughly right here on the line. We've been riding the 72. So I don't expect, even if we did get a big sell-off today, it shouldn't curve it down too much. We still would have like this meeting here. So even if it's something crazy on the macro happens, if it's not tomorrow, it more than likely be the day after. But more than likely, we're getting this cross here tomorrow, I'll say. Let's take a look here to see shorts. Again, shorts are coming out. This is another method you can use to kind of see if it is expected that the market goes down. Again, we haven't seen any significant movement down, but the people that make money on the market going down, they aren't coming in. And in fact, they are liquidating positions. They are down 6.02% today. So they aren't expecting a big move down. Otherwise, they'd be waging money on it so they can make a return. Bitcoin here is probably, let's see, what were you? 67,391. So we've been seeing this sideways movement as well. It's been getting rejections off of the 66,000 mark a few times, pretty much to 72. So that's going to be another indicator here as far as when the liquidity starts going into the market. Similar situation here. We came down. We had, let's go back here. When we had this initial cross here, the 72, same thing. We did nothing here in Bitcoin for roughly about a week, right? And this is in October. And then of course we ran from 26,000, we ran to around 47,000. So almost doubling. We had a brief dip down, then we got another cross here, but this is the scenario. The first scenario, like I mentioned back in October for Doge, where it was on an actual tear. And then we had that run to the all-time high. So both scenarios, sometimes you have that indicator that's hinting ahead of time, and then sometimes you have where it's on a tear, but both of them indicate liquidity coming into the market. So, and that has not failed yet. So going to get prepared for that. And same thing here. This is total market cap. Obviously, this is heavily weighted by Bitcoin, but it does include the weight of the other coins. Similar price action here, delayed back in October, but we did get a run from around 1 trillion to 1.7 trillion. So a little over 600 billion flowing into the market. Same thing back in February, got a slight cross, stagnation, went sideways for about a week and a half roughly. And then boom, we had that explosion up to 2.7 trillion. So right now we are actually on the 14-day for total market cap. But if we repeat this, that means that we're going over 5 trillion basically and setting a new all-time high in total market cap. So these are some of the things that you want to watch for going forward. It's going to give you the signal overall, not just for Doge, but for other coins and for liquidity coming into the market. It's going to be a really big signal so that you can prepare and make decisions based off of that, because you're going to see a lot of, I've been seeing all the comments and stuff coming on my channel talking about like Pepe and all that. There's going to be some changing overall in the market, and Doge has aligned itself because of its position, even on the charts, with institutional capital, right? So Doge is not going to be like a flash in the pan. It's probably not even going to peak with other meme coins, because if you remember, meme coins soared last time and they peaked and they sold off before Bitcoin and some of the other coins. The other coins were still running even after crypto had already, not crypto, but even after like coins like Doge and some of the other coins had already peaked. So I imagine Doge's run is going to be a lot longer than quote unquote meme coins. I know Doge is still considered a meme by a lot of people, but 3+ years in the top 10, it's becoming hard to deny Doge's position here. So you'll see for the most part, the market is red. So not expecting miracles out of Dogecoin here to be going against the grain, but still over 1 billion in transactions in the last 24 hours. You'll see some of these coins will have some divergences in here. And the biggest thing, what are they even talking about? It was like 19 the other day. It's dropped 2 positions and they're whatever. But you'll see people coming in and saying, oh, hey, this is my coin, I'm swapping out. Hey, look, that's fine. That's your business, but you have to keep in mind, as far as for your investments, those are your personal decisions. And if you are moving around and chasing this, make sure that you are solidifying those point pools of liquidity, because technically speaking, if you are in a newer coin and it's simply pumping and there's no institutional allocation, you'll see something similar to a 2021 style run, right? So this here is going to be a very determining run, even for Dogecoin and some of the coins that's been around for a while, as far as getting rid of that meme status and having that allocation trending with some of these top coins here and positioning itself. Because if you're talking about things like getting ETFs or getting these, I can't even think right now, getting these allocations for contracts, the option contract, futures. Oh my God, there we go. It was escaping me for a second. Getting these futures and stuff. Meme status is not going to help with that, right? So having that institutional allocation, having that backing, having that history that you are not going to be rugged and stuff like that, and it will make it safe and attractive to make these types of options available, so that we're not just bringing up like lawsuits against like the SEC and stuff like so. This is it's a different path that Doge is on now compared to 2020 and 2016. So I understand people's need for chasing gains and all that kind of stuff, but Doge is on a different path now. So you can't compare a coin that's in conversations about getting futures and being used for payments on one of the largest networks in the world. And still, I know it still has that meme token thing because people are still holding on to it, but Doge is transitioning. And I think that the facts are there, and that's undeniable. So, do what's best for you. But it'll be unlikely that you'll see an investment from me in some of those other coins. I have a different focus that I've even been talking about, even on my Patreon with a lot of people. I have a different focus for this group, so it won't be a lot of meme investing this cycle. So, sorry about the rant. I wanted to point that out. One more thing is the biggest thing when it comes down to allocation is I'm looking for divergences now on here on the charts. And what does that mean? If to the downside, if it was a divergence to the green, obviously no one would complain. But I'm also not looking for like miracles and stuff. Like if the market is obviously pulling down or selling off, going sideways, then I'm just looking to make sure, hey, is Dogecoin selling off more than the other coins? Is it out of the normal for Dogecoin? Am I seeing some abnormal activity? And I'm not. The charts are pretty much the same here. If you look at Cardano, Doge, XRP, Solana, BNB, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all of them are pretty much trending the same. So the allocation, the flow of money is still the same. So I'm not concerned about that. So pretty much right now I'm just kind of charting and waiting on this breakthrough as far as with Bitcoin and these pools of liquidity and kind of narrowing down that, because the biggest thing for this run is going to be a strength test for Dogecoin to see what that all-time high looks like. I know we all have our projections, but this run right here after this golden cross, this next leg is going to confirm whether or not we are correct with those all-time highs, whether or not we need to move them up or whether we need to move them down, be more conservative. This is a strength test for this run overall. So I'm very excited to kind of see what happens with this run and this next leg up. So if you found value, please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave me a comment. We're going to try and beat Bitcoin to 100,000. So it's giving us some more time. So please consider subscribing. I appreciate all of you. I will see you guys in the next video.